Praise the Most High, family. This is going to be our part 2 to our recording with the question, the title being a question, or some never meant to get it. Oh boy. And we're going to pick up right where we stopped. We do know this is talking about the Most High, don't we? And how he offers everybody to come in. Oh boy, let's back up. I believe now, if I'm not mistaken, this parable started off with, the king inviting folks to come to the wedding, to his son's wedding. But they was like, no, the invited guests, ain't nobody come, ain't nobody show up. And you do know that's a sign of our people. How we would, when Yahushua came, our people denied him and crucified him. But to continue on, nobody wanted to show up, so he told all the men to go out and invite whoever you see out on the street. Come and fill my banquet hall with whoever you see. So in that process, just like we just read, let me read that part again. I'm not going to read it all over. It may be that the king provided these clothes to all his guests, since they were from all walks of life and last minute invites. So the Most High would call you to him and clean you up. He'll call you to him and save your soul. If you want to look at it like that. What Yahushua called it is, he'll give you a rebirth. You must be born again. That's the saving process. That's where the saving process starts. It don't end there and you save. Like some folks say, once you save, you always say, that's a lie straight from Satan. If that was the case, what's up with the backslider? Now Yahushua is married to the backslider. In his eyes, the door is always open. But the point is where we walk through the door. But the point is, this fellow was proud and arrogant. Yeah, well, let's go on to read, because these are some real good, nice notes this fellow put together for us. Once again, now since everyone else at the feast wore proper wedding clothes, it may be that the king provided these clothes to all his guests, since they were from all walks of life and last minute invites. One more time. And that means they were covered under Yahushua's blood. They have received Yahushua as their sacrifice for their sins and as their example how to walk, how to talk, how to dress. See, we can't forget that part about Yahushua. He was the perfect example, not just to fulfill the sacrifice with the unspotted, unblemished lamb, but also as a grand example for us how to walk the same walk. So when folks say that the laws and statutes are done away with, they lying to you. They are lying to you. They haven't studied the life of Yahushua. They haven't studied the life of Paul, where they try to twist the scripts to say you're not obliged to follow the Most High's laws, statutes, and commands, but you are. You are. He said, if you love him, keep his commandments. But we're not going to get all into that today. We're going to continue on with this idea. Yet this one man chose not to put them on. That reminds me of the script about if you try to come any other way, you're a thief and a robber. You try to come through any other way but through the door, which is Yahushua Mashiach. Try to come through a window. And that's speaking straight up Hasatan and his people. ones that's not meant to get it. Okay. The king was drawn to this oddity. After all, the wedding clothes show proper respect and were obviously required for all guests. Yet this one man chose not to put them on. Oh boy. One, he does not appear to be a party crasher, for he was invited like all the rest. But he was rude and offensive in his behavior since he stood out in defiance of the dress code. Oh boy. Oh boy. What a sad song, family. The king addressed the man as friend. The Greek word was a polite form of address, but it is used only 3 times in the New Testament, each time in reference to those who are not true friends, but false friends. It is used of the man who thought the vineyard owner was unfair with his money, and that's in Matthew 20 and 13. And then Yahusha also used the term when he addressed Judas on the night he came to betray him, and that's in Matthew 26 and 50. In the present passage, friend is used of one who was defiant. So when confronted as to why he did not have the proper clothing, he was speechless. And we spoke on this idea before, because he knew it was wrong. He just thought he was going to be able to get over and how you say that word? You grandstand another individual. He tried to grandstand the king. This word is used in reference to an ox, speechless. Let me read that again. So when confronted as to why he did not have the proper clothing, he was speechless. This word is used in reference to an ox in 1 Timothy 5 and 18, meaning to be muzzled, to have nothing to say. In other words, the man had no good excuse for not wearing the proper clothing to the feast, so he did not offer a bad excuse. Now this is in no, I like this part. It says, now this is in no way a reference to Sunday churchgoers, to wear their so-called Sunday's best. Rather, it is in reference to this man's presumption that he could come to the king's feast on his own terms. Oh boy, what a mouthful. Because this is how people are today. They like, that don't sound like what I was taught before, so on my own terms. And that's what people say, that's not my truth. Oh boy, it's not your truth. So those are your terms. You making the terms now. Oh boy, you making the rules. Oh boy. Let me find my place. Rather, it is a reference to this man's presumption that he could come to the king's feast on his own terms. Now, of course, he came to the king's feast on his own terms, thinking he wasn't going to get any repercussions behind it, because I'm sure he was surprised when he was cast into outer darkness, where there's gnashing of teeth. Here's the key. He was proud, set, and self-willed, refusing to bow to the king. And see, that speaks to a whole lot of folks these days. They are proud, self-willed, and refuse to bow to the king. And why would that say it like that? Bow to the king. His way of doing things. His laws, statutes, and commands. His way of entering through the narrow gate and not the wide gate. See, that Christianity is the wide gate. I don't care what nobody say, that's the wide gate. The text says you're Hasatan would deceive the whole world. How else would he deceive it? Everybody Christian. Everybody is Christian. Or Muslim. The text says that in the land of our captivity, we will serve other gods, gods of stone and gods of wood. Now, what's the symbol for the two main religions that we have been serving since we have been in this land? Both man-made by Rome. Christianity with their cross and Islam with their stone. Praise the Most High. The black stone. His arrogance in thinking he could do as he pleased is akin to the numerous pseudo-Christians today who claim to know the King, Jesus in parentheses, but who refuse to submit to his rule. Or should we say his rules? And as I wrote at the bottom, well, let me go and give the background to this idea. And it was, I woke up and the Most High showed me a fence. Just like the fence that we were out here, that I showed in the recording the other day. And I saw somebody laid across the fence holding on to it. And it's like there was a shaking. But they was just holding on to that fence. Holding on to the fence. And he said, Robert, you know why there's no play in the middle of fences, however that saying go. There's no play in the middle on the fence. You can't be on the fence because there's two owners on both sides. There's two different owners on either side, and either you're gonna love one or hate the other. You're gonna love one and hate the other. I said, oh boy, that was a reality check. There's no play in the middle because there's two owners on either side of the fence. Two different owners on either side of the fence. And both have different opinions and both have different ideologies, if that's what you want to call it, rules, terms. On one side, Hasatan is saying, do as you wilt. Do whatever you want to do. It's all about you. Go on and eat that apple. You ain't gonna die. Go on and bite that fruit. You ain't gonna die. Did he say you was gonna die if you ate from the trees in the garden? See, all he needs is a little persuasion. He'll get you with just a little, he can slide in a little cue, get you to talking to him, give you a little truth. That's how a lot of these pastors, teachers, mores, bishops are. They give you a little bit of truth and then take you on a long ride, a long, hard ride, where it costs only you. But as we were saying at the ending of the first half of this idea, don't stiff arm the Most High, as we talked about with like running the football. Don't stiff arm him. Submit to him. And he'll lift you up. And as this idea said, this note, Yahushua grants understanding to those who are seeking after him. That's the key. That's the key to the whole idea today. Or some never meant to get it. Yeah, some aren't meant to get it because they're not seeking after him. So they're not being granted understanding. It goes on to say, revealing truth to those who are willing to listen and thoughtfully consider what he has to say. And on the other hand, those whose hearts are hardened against him have the truth hidden. So family, what does it mean when truth is hidden from you? You're living a lie. And you're damned to the outer darkness, where there's gnashing of teeth. Hell. I heard this fella talking about what sins would send you to hell. Oh boy. I just laughed. So he said that only the sin, I believe, of pride and sexual infidelities would send you to hell. I said that joker lying through his teeth. Because all sin ends in death. The text says the wages of sin is death, and what is death? Hell. It's apart from the Most High. That's what death and sin is. But we're going to let that be our time. But he was right about that pride. The text says that pride comes before a great fall. And that sexual sin is the sin that's against your own physical body. So yes, those are horrific sins and ones that the Most High despise. Because he said you're not your own. You're the temple of the Ruach HaKodesh. But family, like I said, don't stiff arm the Most High and don't stiff arm his messengers. See, we give folks such a hard time when they're not saying what we used to hearing. That itching ear doctrine. You're not giving me my prosperity doctrine. I don't want to hear it. Oh boy. You're not telling me I'm not having nothing missing, nothing broken in my life, and I don't want to hear it. See, that's not what my pastor told me. That's not what my teacher told me. And see, a lot of us should be getting an understanding of it by now. When you get Creflo Dollar coming out saying that he was wrong, everything he preached basically for the last 30 years, throw it all away. Throw away all his tapes, but not the ones I just made. Come on and buy these. This is going to be the new and improved old dollar. Oh boy. How stupid can we be? And if he comes out and say that he's wrong, what about all his compadres? What about all his partners that they was in them conferences with? That they made tapes with? That they made they go to these big conferences and you could buy the whole conference on a whole in a suitcase, suitcase. What about all the other teachings that's going on when they all saying the same thing? So he basically came out and said all of us are wrong, throw away all of our CDs and tapes. But if we don't, what kind of fools are we? How do we look at the end of the day? We look like that fella at the wedding feast that wasn't in the proper attire. We left holding our hearts in our hands and our hind parts in our hands, singing R. Kelly's song, I wish, I wish, I wish. And it's going to be too late. Praise the Most High, family. That's my time. It's time to ask them serious questions right now. Are some meant never to get it? How do we say that? Are some never meant to get it? Family, I don't want to be that part of that crew who are never meant to get it. And it's all about that pride. It's all about your pride. I should have put that itch and ear script in there, but we all know it. We talked about it enough. But like I said, family, stay up and keep pushing forward in the right direction. Shalom.